Hi, we're China and Sheridan, and this is our life cycle analysis on Beanie Babies. It's a story of everlasting love, literally. Now, Beanie Babies, which are cute little snuggly toys from TY, are made up of three major components. The first component is fabric. The second is the eyes and the nose, which are made out of plastic, as represented by this water bottle, so beautifully drawn. And the third is the filling. Let's start with the fabric, which surrounds the Beanie Baby. Beanie Babies are made up of primarily polyester, and polyester is derived from petroleum, as you can see through this diagram here. So petroleum makes polyester. Petroleum is acquired through what we call oil wells, and oil wells you dig deep down into the ground and suck up oil from the ground. But what is polyester, you may ask? Polyester is basically a category of polymers that is most commonly used in manufacturing goods like clothes, shirts, pants, and, well, Beanie Babies. And as you can see here, here's some pants and a shirt being manufactured. In layman's terms, to give you a visual, polyester is used in fabric and is basically the fabric covering the beans, which makes the Beanie Baby soft and cuddly. Now, Beanie Babies is kind of a sneaky name from TY, the manufacturer, because they will have you believe that the bear you are snuggling tight is filled with au naturel beans from the garden, when it is really just pieces of plastic with the consistency of uncooked beans. These plastic beans are made out of polyethylene, which again sounds complicated, but is just the most common type of plastic used in manufacturing. Those are the two main parts of a Beanie Baby, the fabric and the beans. But how do you make those two essential products? In order to create a fabric out of what looks like black goopy stuff, you go through a series of processes using electricity, meaning coal, and you use this coal to heat the mixture, as is shown by this fire here. You also use plain old air, like the air around you. You use water, or H2O. And you use alcohol, surprisingly enough, but it is not the kind of alcohol that you drink, it's the kind that's used in manufacturing. And then you also obviously use petroleum, or oil. But with every input, there's a waste that comes about. And for polyester, these wastes are acetaldehyde, which is, acetaldehyde is a non-reusable type of alcohol. So it's not the kind you drink, it's the kind that you use in manufacturing. So it's the wrong alcohol that I've depicted here. And you also use formaldehyde, which is a chemical that you may have used in dissections, like frog dissections or other such dissections. Fun fact. Formaldehyde is a gas that in 2011 the U.S. National Toxicology Program described as known to be a human carcinogen, which basically means it's a bad gas. So as for the beans and the eyes, they are both also made of polyethylene, which is the plastic we were talking about earlier. Polyethylene is also derived from petroleum, but it actually goes through a different process. Ethane and propane are cracked into ethylene and propylene using high temperature furnaces which require electricity, so very hot. A catalyst, meaning something that speeds up chemical reactions, is then combined with ethylene or propylene in a reactor, resulting in a material that kind of looks like laundry detergent, like that. Fluff is combined with additives in a continuous blender, as is shown here. The green is the fluff, even though it's not labeled. After being blended, the mixture is fed to an extruder where it is melted using more electricity. Melted plastic is then cooled and fed to a pelletser that cuts the product into small pellets, again requiring electricity. Then it is complete. Yay! And you have your plastic eyes and nose. Most of the waste that comes from this process is electricity, so basically greenhouse gases. So with all these separate components done, they must be put together into what we know as Beanie Babies. So how do you do this? How do you put them all together to make Beanie Babies? And here's a cute little picture of a Beanie Baby. The factory process is all automated and run on electricity. Putting power in from coal and getting out greenhouse gases is really what the assembly process is. Fun fact, the 4 main types of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere are nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrofluorocarbon.
All the cutting with huge pattern machines, and stuffing is done by machines there.
So with all the assembly done, that means like the stitching, the cutting, and the sewing, it's time to ship these cute little snuggly Beanie Babies to places all over the world, like the USA, Europe, and places like that.
The transport for Beanie Babies is primarily cargo ships and trucks. The cargo ships coming from China, traveling all the way to other places like America on natural gas and like oil, and then it transfers to the trucks that go overland to all the stores.
So basically, we have to get from point A to point B, i.e. China, to America. And so how do we do that? We do that with ships and trucks. The transport process uses oil and natural gas.
As a result of that, many pounds of greenhouse gases are produced as well. But so what happens after the Beanie Babies hit the shelves? After they've been transported all the way from China overseas from cargo and into stores, what happens? After being bought by a cute little child, they are loved,
or an adult.
They are loved and cherished until they
save our planet Earth.
They are loved and cherished until they are threadbare or lost, donated to the Salvation Army, or maybe just thrown out. Both of these scenarios demonstrate some type of disposal, whether it being thrown away, donated, or just lost. If Beanie Babies are just thrown away, they are thrown into landfills and either burned using energy,
which both releases harmful gases into the atmosphere and, quite frankly, makes the Beanie Baby very, very sad. The other scenario is
either burned or left to sit in landfills where they decay, releasing harmful gases like methane and carbon dioxide. The good news is that many of the components of your Beanie Babies can actually be recycled, but only if you really take them apart. The materials that get recycled are things like polyester, which is from the probably not so fluffy anymore fabric. When looking to the second disposal scenario, like being donated to the Salvation Army or other thrift store, then obviously this is the best option for disposal, because the Beanie Baby can be reused and left by another child.
So that's the end of our project on Beanie Babies. We hope you enjoyed watching, and we hope you are more informed on the life cycle of the cute little snuggly bear.
Are you ready, kids? Recycle!